Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Sal, Stretford Post. How you all doing? I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. The night before, what's it called? The night before, the last night before, whatever it was. But I was up till late last night watching England try and dismantle a 57th place Slovenian team in the rankings, a 57th ranked team in the tournament. Unbelievably, I was impressed with England in the second half. Some parts of the game, beggars can't be choosers, but the changes made a difference, didn't they? Mainu coming on was a very a shrewd move from Southgate. It rejuvenated the team. I saw some signs there. No, it's not good enough from England's side of things, but I saw some things there that I believe will set England in good stead if they carry this on. If they carry this on to the next games, I believe that they will get better as the tournament goes, but we have to play the right players. Palmer needs to come in, Mainu needs to come in, for example. And I would change it up. I would play a natural left-sided player because it's not working. You know, this isn't working. So England need to do better, and they are through, and most likely they will end up playing I believe they'll end up playing Holland, I believe. So let's wait and see what that is. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel if you could, please, and that would be fantastic. I really appreciate you. Today I'll be talking about Manchester United and the news that Ineos are not happy with UEFA blocking the deal for Todibo. Ineos have are seeking legal advice in regards to Todibo because they don't believe that this is a fair scenario for them not being allowed to go for Todibo when there are so many obvious flaws in UEFA and their system that you could easily manipulate those rules if you play the game, if you play your cards right. But why should teams have to manipulate rules? If the laws are there to be manipulated, are the laws any good? You know, I just feel like they're just nitpicking at things. And I feel like they just don't want United. When United are concerned, it seems to be a big hoo-ha. And everyone brings out the book, slams the book on the table and goes to page 576 and says, look, this is the law. You're not allowed to do that. This is the law. And you'll be like, oh, but that law hasn't been in place since like 1970. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is the law. You can't do that. You cannot be signing players who play for teams you're connected with, you're associated with. I believe there's a way around this. And like I said before, I genuinely believe that we could get this deal over the line. I think we can. I think if we do fight for it, I believe we can get it over the line. I really do feel that. United need a right-sided centre-back, and Todibo would fit the mould perfectly. I wouldn't just give up. I would seek legal advice. Just like media reports are reporting, I would, if I was Ineos, I'll seek legal advice, and I will see what if there is a way around it somewhat. If there's some way we could go around it some way. I'm sure that UEFA are ready to listen. I'm sure if there is any way, they'll be ready to listen to what Man United have to say. And if Ineos go to court, it means they believe they have a case. They believe it. And that's what I want to see as a Man United fan. I don't want us to just say, right, we give up. We're not gonna, we give up. We're not gonna sign Todibo. Guess we can't get him. Guess we have to make do with someone else, a free transfer or something. I like this. I like the fact that we're fighting against the system. This is Man United. I don't agree with the decision from UEFA. We can fight it. We can battle it out, and we can get Todibo. I believe so. Call me crazy, but you heard it here. I believe we can get to Todibo, and if we fight it out, if we seek legal action, I believe that UEFA come to a compromise. Now, also in the news, Manchester United are monitoring Mark Guehi. Crystal Palace's Mark Guehi is currently at Euro 2004, but are waiting for the Euros to finish, for England to come home, for Guehi to come home, which, let's face it, the way they're playing, it might not be too long, but Guehi could be coming home, and he could be coming to Manchester United. News outlets are reporting that Manchester United are ready to table an offer. The only issue is obviously when it's the Premier League concerned, that the price goes extortionate. Rip off Britain, as you say. The prices go extortionate, and United they get ripped off. Especially United, we get ripped off because as soon as they see United, they say, "Oh yeah, to United, they're jokers, they're clowns," because we've gained a terrible reputation to rebuild this reputation that we've given ourselves over the last 20 years or so, because the last few years we've been played in the transfer market. Teams have played us. We haven't given an aura of what we are. We haven't given these other teams in Europe any means to respect us, because we're run under the Glazers, we're run under bankers, we're run under Woodwards, and teams that think, oh, we can take them for a ride. Look at last season with Anthony, etc. So we must not be held to ransom. I know that's a word that we don't like. That's the buzzword that we don't like. Being we will not be held to ransom. There's no value in the transfer market. We must be smart. And Guehi would love to come to Manchester United, I'm sure. So Manchester United are monitoring Guehi. Guehi, who's impressed at the Euro so far, one of the few players in the England team who have impressed, is on United's radar. So United, that could get moving after he returns from the Euros. I'm sure United will be speaking to his agents, and I'm sure United will make progress in a deal for Guehi. Plus, he's Premier League proven, and he is a top talent. So United should really push the boat for him. In regards to Branthwaite, United are still in talks with Branthwaite. Developments could happen next week, of course. Next week, July the 1st, developments could happen in regards to Branthwaite. Don't be surprised if we get a couple in next week. If three players walk through the door. If that happens, Ineos are moving like a boss. I hold my hand up. They're moving like a boss. I believe in Ineos. I believe they can get the deals done. I don't want to believe that it's going to be another Glazer summer, because I believe that Ineos are moving, and there's noises out there to say that they are moving and they are serious. I don't believe that Ineos has spent $1 billion on Manchester United if they're not going to be taken seriously. He wants to bring Manchester United back to the top. I'm sure he will bring Manchester United back to the top. As I said, I believe next season that we will have a good season and we will fight it out next season and we will do well next season. I believe that. I said title charge. Maybe premature, but I believe that. I believe in the team, and I believe at Manchester United we should always be aiming for the title, no matter who is playing. Now, Manchester United have also been monitoring Ugarte of PSG. Now, Ugarte, right? I wanted to talk about Ugarte briefly, Manuel Ugarte briefly, in regards to his fit for United. I like this player. I really like this player. Obviously, coming from the Sporting Lisbon conveyor belt of talent that has come through, I believe he has the mentality, the strength, and he's playing just one of them players who, I can't swear, housery. It's, the first bit of housery. He just doesn't care, and that's the type of player we need, like a Martinez type of player, someone who wears his heart on his sleeve, who can go out there and could just knock a few heads about. Put a few challenges in, boost the team. I believe he will be a fantastic signing. And as I've always said, we need to explore the South American market better, because players like Ugarte, of course, they signed for Sporting Lisbon and then signed for PSG. But we need Ugarte. We need an Ugarte type player from scouting in South America, because Sporting Lisbon do it, Benfica do it, Ajax do it. We need to follow the same mold, and we need to try and explore that market a little bit more, build relationships with those teams. Real Madrid are doing it in Brazil. They're bringing through a lot of young players. They get their first ones through. Maybe they're signing too much. They've got Endrick coming to Real Madrid next season. So he's another highly touted player. Of course, Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo, all these type of players. So United need to follow suit and need to see what are these players doing in regards to finding these players and bringing them in and getting them up through the door smoothly and as quickly as possible. It happened years and years ago with Lionel Messi. Famously, Barcelona gave the family of Lionel Messi a handkerchief and said, sign it here, we'll sign it here, we want to sign this player. So who knows? You know, it's not going to be quite like that, but United do need to go to South America and explore the South American market a bit more. Not only South America, we're talking about Central America and North America as well, because it's a big continent. South America, North America, Central America, the CONCACAF, whatever you want to say. It's a really big talent pool there, and we must explore it. We shouldn't just limit ourselves to Europe. We shouldn't just limit ourselves to signing players from English clubs, because there are bargains to be made, bargains to be had. In regards to Africa, we need to be more smart in regards to scouting in Africa, African teams, North Africa. Of course, there's teams out there are very well run. There are big teams out there. There are massive teams in Egypt. There are massive teams in Tunisia. I once went to see Esperance de Tunis in Tunisia, and I was shocked at some of the young players, the talent that they have, and the technical skill that they have. So we have to make sure that we're exploring these markets and make sure we're making the most of it, and we're working hard to get these transfers over the line. We really need to try and see if we can sign more players and get bargains out there, because there are bargains to be had. We do not have the money now to be going out there and spending ridiculous money. And in my opinion, I agree with Jim Ratcliffe in one of the previous interviews when he said, you know, Mbappe, why don't we find our own Mbappe? Which is correct. Why don't we find our own Mbappe? Why don't we? Most of our best players this season have come from our youth system. The players that are like Mainu, we wouldn't find a player like that in Europe for a million years. We won't find a player like that. If we did, it would cost over £100 million. Mainu, who came on yesterday and completely low-key transformed the whole game for England. England went forward a little bit more. They pressed a little bit more when Mainu came on. And it's something that we've been saying for a long time. People think we're talking rubbish. I've been watching football close enough to 40 years. I know what England need to do. I know what they don't do. And I know that the reasons why they don't go over the line. They don't go over the line, push it towards winning trophies, because they always go for the safe option. England need to play attacking. Their strength is attacking. Go for attacking. I never thought that England's strength would be defence this tournament. England are an attacking side, but they're playing defensively. England need to attack. They need to bring players like Mainu in, and they need to believe in him. Also, Palmer. Palmer is a good player, in my opinion, technically better than Saka. I know this is controversial, but Saka is a little bit predictable. I'm telling you. If you cut out Saka's cut-in, he cuts in on the left foot, he likes the shot. Other than that, he can be marked out the game, and teams are beginning to realise this. But in regards to Man United, if we bring it back, Ugarte will be a fabulous signing for me. I am really excited about the potential of that signing. I'm really excited about Guehi as well, who will be a great signing as well to replace a Varane, for example. Because if Todibo doesn't go through the line, we need to be ready with ready backup plans, because we cannot just rest on our laurels. And when it comes to the pre-season, we've got no centre-backs, and we're playing Johnny Evans there. As well as Johnny Evans is as great as he was last season, he definitely cannot keep playing every single game. Evans will be there. Evans will be there for the cup games. Evans will be there for the League Cup and coming in as a substitute. We cannot rely on him as a first teamer. We need to start buying more defenders, more players who can play long term, who we can form a partnership in the centre-back positions, because that's arguably something that we've missed. We've missed partnerships. We haven't had any partnerships in the midfield. We haven't had any partnerships in the defence, and we haven't had any partnerships up front, because we're consistently changing. Our injury record is atrocious, so we're consistently getting injuries, and that's the whole issue with United right now, with issues about injuries, etc. Of course, Branthwaite will not always be a starter, although there are rumours that Branthwaite is a right footer, not a left footer. People have been saying that he plays because he can on the left centre back, because he can play on the left centre back. And if that's the case, if it is true, I don't know if it is, that is fantastic, because then you can move Branthwaite centre back with Lisa Martinez as a centre back left sided. So that will be an absolute dream, for us, because then we don't need to worry about it too much although we shouldn't rest on our laurels. We should try and sign another defender to keep our squad nice and healthy and players competing for places. Of course, Luke Shaw is now fit, apparently. He was on the bench last night. He is definitely not match fit. He hasn't played since February. So we need to be careful with Shaw. Southgate, I hope he is careful with Shaw, because Luke Shaw is made of glass, and he comes from a generation of United players who are made of glass. They come from the factory, the glass factory. So we need to make sure that we don't overuse these players now, because Shaw most likely will come back, get back into the team, and get injured. God forbid he will get injured. But it is most likely that he will. So we need to find a left back. We got Malacia coming back again. But I am really excited to see Amas coming through the youth. I believe he's the next big thing defensively wise. I think if we give him a few chances during the pre-season, you'll be surprised. Just like we brought through Maino, we've got a conveyor belt of fresh, brilliant young players to come through, trophy-winning young players to come through with the right, correct mentality. We need to believe in these players, and we need to believe in the youth, and we need to play them. I believe that Ten Hag is the right man. I believe he's the only one right now who will believe in the youth. I believe he was very close to drifting in Amas during last season. But of course, he didn't want to play Amas, throwing him in the deep end with players all over the place. Casemiro centre-back, for example. But players like Amas will be nurtured, and obviously training alongside players like Johnny Evans, which can only be good for his development. I believe that he will play in the preseason, and I believe Ineos are excited at the prospect of Amas coming through. And what I do like about Ineos at the moment is that they do like the idea of the youth team. And I believe that was a huge factor in Ten Hag staying at Manchester United, is the fact that he uses the youth team. And he takes advantage of the youth team. The youth team is there for a purpose. We put a lot of money in our youth team, and we have a lot of talent. But we've misused players. We've misused certain players. And as Sir Alex Ferguson said, if you leave youth players and you don't give them a chance, they will stagnate, and they will end up drifting away into the oblivion, the abyss, as if you like. So we need to give these players a chance. We need to give them first team experience, get them on the right track. For example, in 1992, the class of 92, we brought through Gary Neville. If Gary Neville went to Preston respectively or Leyton Orient, his development wouldn't have been as great as it was, as he's given a chance at Manchester United, because he had obvious flaws in his game. So you have to give them a chance and believe in them, because they obviously, a lot of them bleed red. They are Manchester United fans, and they want Manchester United to do well. And youth players, they rarely let you down. They'll run through brick walls for you. It's important that we nurture them well. We're fair with the contracts. We don't give them too much. We keep them hungry as well, which is very, very important. But I'm excited to see a number of players, Shea Lacey as well, a number of Fletcher, a number of players that will be coming through next season. I'm just excited about that, as I am excited about transfers coming through the door as well, because our DNA is bringing through youth. Our DNA is giving youth a chance. I don't know how many decades, I think nearly 100 years. I'm exaggerating that we've always had a youth player in our squad, which is fantastic. And it's who we are, and it's the only way we're going to go forward successfully. Mainu now is a mainstay in our team. Why is he a mainstay in our team? It's because he plays every game now. He plays, but we do need signings to rotate. Even Sir Alex, the great Sir Alex, had Cristiano Ronaldo. He kept him on the bench for a while. Obvious talent, but weren't quite there. Needed to be nurtured in the team, out the team, in the team, out the team. And even Cristiano Ronaldo would admit that was his development was because of Sir Alex Ferguson, and the way Sir Alex Ferguson handled Cristiano Ronaldo, So the way Alex Ferguson handled Cristiano Ronaldo. So that's the news about Manchester United. Obviously, there's more news in regards to Ten Hag's contract. Ten Hag is close to signing a new contract. I'm very interested to see what the small print is on that contract. I would like to see what incentives there are for Ten Hag? Is there a release clause, like a sacking thing, like a 10 million thing? Because I'm sure that Ineos weren't 100% sure on Ten Hag. Of course, the majority of the fans were. They didn't handle the situation with any class, in my opinion, but they made the right choice, and I give them respect for that. I give them a lot of respect for that. They made the right choice. So Ten Hag signing a new contract, it gives us a sense of solidarity and some stability within our squad and within our team. And those players who doubt Ten Hag will have to earn their corn, and they will have to start working hard. Now, we still have Sancho at the club, of course. We still have Mason Greenwood at the club. Mason Greenwood, who this week was touted as going to Lazio. Lazio offered 17 million, plus they wanted a 10% sell-on clause on the contract. For me, that is one of the worst, most disrespectful bids I've ever seen in my life, because you could go to the Championship, you wouldn't find a player for 17 million if it was if they were up and coming, our main player at that club. You get players in League Two going for that price now. League One, sorry. League Two is pushing it a little bit. Who could go for similar price, especially with the 10% sell-on clause. So that is crazy. So Sancho, on the other hand, obviously wants to go to Juventus, but there's still an issue between Greenwood and Sancho. If Sancho goes to Juventus, it may hamper the deal for Greenwood to go to Lazio or wherever he's going to go to. I'm not too sure the finer details. I'm going to find that out. But apparently, it is very difficult to do both deals. Basically, selling both is a priority. We should sell both. In regards to Greenwood, I don't like talking about the issue much. I tend to keep myself away because it's a very sensitive subject in regards to Greenwood. I think it's very distasteful when we start talking about certain things about, he should play, he should come back, he should. This is multi-layered. This is not just he swore at someone or he's nicked a biscuit or something, or a donut like Guehi did in a supermarket. It's about people's lives here, and it's about the message that we send out. Because Manchester United is a global brand. Manchester United are fans from men and women all around the world. And it depends on the reputation of the club. I really like Greenwood. Greenwood, when he came through, I was so excited. He reminded me of Robin van Persie, a young Robin van Persie. I believe even Robin van Persie said that. And it's so sad, what has happened. Yes, we all make mistakes. We are all human beings. Just remember that. We are all human beings. So I always keep that in my head. We all have made mistakes. So we must not just automatically alienate people. That is very true. But this is not just about Greenwood. This is about the football club. This is about our reputation. This is about Greenwood as well. Because I remember when I was old enough to remember when David Beckham got sent off in the 1998 World Cup, what it did for him. When every ground he went to, he got booed, he got sworn at. There were profound language against his wife, disgusting language. And mentally, it affected David Beckham. Famously, he didn't eat, and it really destroyed him. Now, you pull it into this day and age where there's social media, there's Facebook, there's Twitter, there's Instagram. There's lots of things that can really affect a player. You cannot get away from it. And some people say, oh, just don't look. Look, many of us have been the subject of abuse online. None in the level of a footballer. Okay, none in the level of a footballer. We have opinions, we have strong opinions, and if you have strong opinions, you got to be ready to face the backlash. That's what it is. You got to have thick skin in this industry. But in regards to being a footballer, the abuse is non-stop. So it's not just like David Beckham, who can close his curtains and go to bed and not think about it and not turn on the TV. It's online all the time. It's online all the time. And human nature is a way that we always look. We always want to look. We don't want to look, but we have to look. And when we look, it really, really harms us mentally. So this is the issue with Greenwood coming back to United, the football grounds, the social media abuse. Can you imagine the abuse he's going to get? So this isn't just about what we want. This is looking after the player himself. Us wanting Greenwood back is selfish. We need to think about the player as well and his well-being, because at the end of the day, he's not going to be let off lightly. We are Manchester United. We're going to go to stadiums and people are going to target him, and they're going to say a number of disgusting things to him, as what happened to David Beckham. And no, he can't get away from it even when he gets home and he looks at his social media. He's going to be seeing the various abuse online as well, if he hasn't seen it already. I really do feel sorry for him. I do. I know what happened was bad, but as I said, we are human beings. But we have to think about the player and we have to think about the club, because at the moment we are in a very, very crucial period in our development as a club, as a new team, as to a Ten Hag with Ineos. We cannot have any outside distractions. Although I do believe in a family atmosphere at Manchester United is what Sir Alex Ferguson installed for so many years. I believe in a family. United should be a family, and we should look after our own. Just like we look after Mainu, just like we back up our players, because we know how good they are, and we wouldn't let anyone give them any crap, because we are Manchester United fans and we back our own, right? That's correct. But backing our own doesn't mean only keeping the player because he's our own. We have to send him out because it's not going to be good for him mentally. And that's the most important thing. And we have to think smart. We cannot think selfishly. We cannot think just on a footballing level. This is on a human level. We have to think. It's about time we start thinking on a human level and not just say, oh, we should come back. It's not fair that he comes back. This is very, very sensitive, this sort of situation, because what we heard on the videotapes cannot be erased. Cannot be erased, regardless the context of those videotapes, when those videotapes came out. We cannot just sweep it under the carpet. A lot of people were hurt by that, and a lot of people will be very angry if Greenwood comes back to United. But I wish him the best of luck, and I hope he succeeds. And in regards to England, I hope he reaches the England squad again, because I don't think they should alienate him completely out of football. I think if he stays in Europe again for another 1 year, 2 years, I believe it will let the dust settle, and I believe he should be brought back into the England's fold. I don't believe Sancho should be deleted out of the England team as well. I don't think he should be ignored. He's a very, very good player, we know. Okay, it's the attitude we have a problem with. But England do miss that type of player. When Palmer came on yesterday, Palmer showed the technical ability that you have. In regards to Saka, I really like Saka. He's a very good player, but he's not very good on the low block. He runs into brick walls sometimes. He cuts in too many times. He reminds me of Anthony. Of course, this is not an insult. Anthony's first season was quite good. Okay, when Anthony's flaw to his game is that he doesn't take it on and he bring it through the byline and crosses the ball, and he doesn't do that. That's what causes teams more problems. He cuts in and shoots on the left foot, and it's similar to what Saka does. When Palmer came on, he was all over the place. He was on the left, he was on the right. If you watched Italy the other night, you would see Chiesa. He was on the left, he was on the right. That's what you want. You want interchange. You want brains in the team. And with Mainu, with Palmer, with Gordon, you have that interchange. And obviously you fit in Foden there. You don't need a striker. I'm telling you, you don't. I don't think Kane fits into that lineup. I don't think he fits into that team as effectively, because he's too slow, I believe. Unfortunately, he's a great goal scorer, but I don't think he fits into the system. If we're going to play Mainu, if we're going to play Gordon, if we're going to play Foden, if we're going to play Palmer, I don't think Kane fits into that system, because Kane fits into a system where balls are coming to the box non-stop. England have many players who are that type of modern player who play just outside the box, who play a bit of tiki-taka sort of style and open the game, a bit like Spain do. Spain don't really have a good striker, but they keep the ball and they force you into submission because they press and press and press. And when the team presses you, it's tiring. It is tiring. So England need to think forward in regards to the forward, and they need to see what they can do. If they bring in Ollie Watkins, who's much more of a player who plays in behind, he's quick, I wouldn't argue with that. I think it would be a good choice. Harry Kane can start games, but it's just the fact that he keeps drifting in all the time. He's drifting in, and he needs to stay up front if he's going to play, because he drifts in, he goes into midfield, he gets in the way. The team don't press as well as they should. Yesterday, when Mainu, when Palmer, when Gordon came on, I saw some really good things. Okay, I know it's Slovenia. I know we're talking about 56, 57 ranked team in the world, but you have to look at the way they changed when those players came on. England controlled the game from the off. As soon as Mainu came on, they controlled the game from the off. They didn't give Slovenia a chance. So that is something to be positive about. Will Gareth Southgate start these players is another question entirely. I believe he has to start Mainu now. I've been screaming, ranting and raving this last week that Mainu should start. I believe he has to start Mainu now. There's no excuses. He has to do what's best, and he has to do what's good for balance. I don't think Foden works on the left. Sadly, that's not going to work for Foden. England are going to have to sacrifice. I personally believe England should go without a striker. England should play a false nine, and England should play more of like Foden and Gordon and Palmer in the team. So it'll be Mainu and Bellingham. So they have Mainu, Foden, Gordon, Bellingham up there, and Palmer. 5 of them up there, playing around the ball, playing technical football, playing with the ball, and forcing the team into submission. Because yesterday, I saw a number of things. It's similar to what I saw in 2016 with Kane. With Kane, I saw, I don't know if you remember the 2016 European Championships, England were dreadful. And Kane was the worst player in the England team, and they were bad, right? And I'm seeing a lot of similarities now. Kane is a poacher. He's good at in front of the box. He's good at getting into position to score goals. He's not he had Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Dwight York, Andy Cole, and Teddy Sheringham. He couldn't play all of them. They're all good. They're all world class. They're all elite. But he couldn't play all of them. He played 2 at a time. And back then it was 4-4-2. Played 2 at a time. He couldn't play all of them. He couldn't play Nicky Butt all the time. Sometimes he had to play Keane. Sometimes he had to play Philip Neville. Sometimes he had to play Gary Neville. He couldn't play them all the time. So at the end of the day, you have to play what's good for balance and what's good for the team. Not just what's good for looks good. And it looks the Hollywood newspaper the team sheet that look, wow, we got all of these players in the team. It doesn't work like that. Teams will know. Teams will know they can counterattack us and they can score against us. balance is important. Mainu added a well-needed balance and took the pressure off Declan Rice. Because let's face it, Declan Rice has been struggling in this tournament. It's not all down to him, of course. Sometimes he has Partey playing with him at Arsenal, but in England, he's had Gallagher. He's had Trent Alexander-Arnold. Arnold, who's one of the best right-backs in the world, should not be deployed as a central midfielder, and that was proven yesterday. A lot of things were answered yesterday without saying a word. We knew Mainu would control the game. We knew Mainu would bring England forward. The only thing now is England need to find a way to create more chances and to score goals. In regards to the creative side of things, I saw one thing that really impressed me, which was the build-up play, and then there was a Palmer shot, which was saved by Oblak. That gave me hope, because at the end of the day, when you look at teams, you look at what we're capable of. If you're capable of moments like that, it shows a lot, and it tells you that this team are capable of much more. I like the fact that we went forward and we pushed forward. I know it's Slovenia, but you can only play who's in front of you. And Slovenia are no mugs, because if you qualify for this tournament, you are definitely not rubbish, okay? Because you have to go through a very strenuous, tough qualifying campaign. When you look at teams like Norway, teams like Finland, teams like Sweden, they're not in this championship. There's many teams that are not in this championship, many. So we have to give them their dues, and we have to say, look, England played okay in the second half, and there were signs that they were better. No, it's not good enough. No one is saying it's good enough, but they have to you can only take the positives out of the game and say, right, this is what we do now. This is going to work. Sorry, we have to drop you. This is just, you have to do it for the team. You're not out of the fold. You can come on as a substitute, blah, blah, blah. But when England get to the nitty-gritty and the business end of the tournament, they're going to play tough teams. And England need to keep the ball and press well. Not just sit back, not just score a goal, and that's it. I even think if England played with Palmer, with Mainu, if they were old enough to play in the Italy game at Wembley in the European Championship final, England would win. They would win, because the press would have been too much for that Italian side, aging Italian side. So England have to look at that. Gareth Southgate has to look at that. He has to look at the positives of what happened, and he has to implement it in the next games. Because if we just go back to playing Trent Alexander-Arnold or Gallagher and keeping the same formation, guys, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It is not going to work. So he needs to do better, and he needs to pick the correct players. I applaud him for bringing on Mainu at halftime, but he brought on the other two, Palmer and Gordon, way too late. So England need to be more proactive when it comes to signings. If you watch other teams, if you watch Italy the other night, they were playing well against Croatia. They still made 3 or 4 changes before the 70th minute. So England have got to do more on that side of changing the team around and building a new team which will take us forward. Because Kane, in my opinion, is unfit. He was slow already. He cannot play that high press type of football. He can't. He's coming to the end of his tether. He's in his 30s. He needs to now try and take a back seat and let other players come to the fold. It reminds me slightly of Alan Shearer. When Alan Shearer, I believe we played Alan Shearer too much. We pushed him too much. And at the end of the day, we always played Alan Shearer. It was always Alan Shearer, Alan Shearer, Alan Shearer, or Teddy Sheringham, Alan Shearer, Teddy Sheringham, Alan Shearer. It was always them. They never made a change. They never played Collymore. They never played Fowler. They never played Andy Cole. They never changed it up enough. They never played like those players like, who's that other player I'm thinking of? That other player I'm thinking of, Alan Smith. Players like that. They never played them. They never gave those players a chance. You know, they just played the same team all the time, and it just stagnated, as we say. It stagnated because we didn't keep Alan Shearer on his toes. Famously, Alan Shearer didn't score for 2 years for England before Euro 96, but Terry Venables still showed his loyalty. That was rewarded in the tournament because Shearer did well in the tournament. He got off to a flyer against Switzerland, and he did well in the rest of the tournament. So it can work, but at the moment, I think Alan Shearer, when we're talking about Alan Shearer, we're talking about a generational talent of Alan Shearer was, I believe he had more to his game than Harry Kane, and much more to his game than Harry Kane. He can get in behind, he can score from all angles. Harry Kane's a good player, I don't think he's on the Shearer level. What do you think about that? What are your opinions on that? I don't think he's on the Alan Shearer level. In regards to United bringing it back now, it's going to be a very, very busy couple of weeks. Obviously, 1st of July is when the business end starts, when the business starts for United. I'm getting concerned. Of course, you have to be concerned because of the past. If you're not concerned, there's something wrong, because at the end of the day, in life, you should always practice cautious optimism. I'm not saying be completely negative and completely miserable. You have to be cautious all the time in anything you do. No matter who it is, you cannot give the full trust to someone you don't know nothing about. Okay? Yes, you've read books. Yes, you've read stories, but there's also bad stories. And there's also murmurs coming out of certain people, fans and ex-players. So we believe in Ineos, but we're not going to dive in and give everything to them. You know, just like you wouldn't, if a scammer rings you on the phone, you wouldn't give him your bank details, would you? You wouldn't say, you know what, you sound like a really nice guy. I'm going to give you my bank details. I'm going to actually forget that. Let me go and let me give you cash transfer through your account, because you just said that I won £1 million. So, but you're saying to me that, you know, you want me to put cash in to make the transfer to my account. Yes, of course I can. Just let me go to a cash point. And that's what blind trust is. You shouldn't trust that. And I know there's a few people say, oh, but you trust Ten Hag blindly. I didn't trust Ten Hag blindly. I trusted Ten Hag because he wins trophies. I trusted Ten Hag because he managed to navigate his way to a trophy with 60 injuries. The Rashford situation, Anthony situation, Greenwood situation, Maguire situation, the takeover, delay and mess, and still navigate his way through a European qualification and a trophy. Now, that's when you look at signs. That's when you see character. That's when you see, well, this guy has had the toughest season in Man United's living memory, but still managed to bring a silver lining from that season, and still managed to keep his composure, his cool, despite a media vendetta, an ex-player vendetta against him. Even some of the fans were crying out for him to leave, were crying for him to be sacked. A few minority, a loud minority in a stadium were booing. He still kept his composure. He still kept his class, and he still won us a trophy. And that's why he's not blind faith. Blind faith is when you trust someone blindly who hasn't proven nothing in a club, a football club like ours. Now, the noises I'm hearing are decent. I like the idea of Todibo, us going to court in regards to Todibo. I like the idea of us fighting for Todibo. I like that. I like the idea of us going after young English talent. I believe the spine should be Premier League. But I don't believe we should use that as a gospel to just buy British players or just buy Premier League proven players. There are players all around the world that are good enough. And what's positive is that we are looking at players. Asomino from Boca Juniors, for example, we're looking at him, which is a very good scouting. 19 years old, 6'1", nicknamed the Tower, playing in Argentina for Boca Juniors. He's had 3 appearances for Boca Juniors, not many, but at the end of the day, it shows that we are looking and we are scouting and we are seeing this player isn't bad, you know, isn't bad. Do Ineos have representatives all around the world? This is the question I want to ask you. Do Ineos have any representatives all around the world? I believe they do. I believe they have representatives all around the world, and I believe that they are working as we speak to find the next big thing. It's not all about spending 60 to 100 million on a young player. If Asomino signed for Paris Saint-Germain, or we went to Lyon, or we went to Benfica or Porto, in a couple of years' time, he's going to be worth 50 million, 60 million, and we'll be here on this podcast with you guys talking about, oh, we should have signed him. He was there available at the time. He was available at the time, and we just didn't sign him. Of course, sometimes it doesn't work. We know that it doesn't work sometimes. We've signed players, and it hasn't worked. Kleberson, for example. But at the end of the day, Kleberson was a Brazilian international. We signed a Brazilian international because he was a Brazilian international. And in those days, Brazil were Brazil. They had world-class elite ballers in their team. So I make no excuses, no regrets, should I say, that we signed Kleberson, because Kleberson played for Brazil. And in my opinion, he wasn't as bad as people think. It's because at that time, we had the Roy Keanes, we had the Juan Sebastian Verons, we had the Paul Scholes, we had the Nicky Butts, we had the Hargreaves, we had all these players, we had great players. And in them days, it was very hard to break into the team. Like, for example, Juan Sebastian Veron. Saber Veron was a world-class player, guys, but we were that good. We were just that good. Is he good enough to replace Scholes? Is he good enough to replace Keane? I don't know. He was brilliant, but not on the level of the players we had. That was the thing with United back then. United were just so good back then. So we couldn't, every player that came in was scrutinized. He was looked upon and say, oh, well, he's not as good as Keane, is he? He's not really. But Veron, make no mistake, he was good. He was good. He was a brilliant player. And probably would fit into our team nicely now, So, back then it was completely different in regards to the players that we had back then. So, guys, please could you smash a like and subscribe to my channel. Let's build together. Let's grow and let's build our own community. I'm here on the ones. I'm here individually. I'm here just to do it for myself. I'm not in competition with anyone. I'm here just to build my community, talk to you people who I've kept on my Facebook and my Twitter for many years now. It's great to interact and it's great to get to know you because you're all smart in regards to football. We have some great football banter on Twitter. We go on Twitter, we talk about Man United all last season, in particular Ten Hag Innes. Those of us with the brain screwed on, we were talking about Ten Hag in, wasn't we? All season, and it came to fruition. We didn't celebrate too soon. We didn't moan too soon. We were there believing in the manager and hoping we win. Now, I hope that Manchester United fans, every single one of us, get behind the team next season and we move and we support Ten Hag and we support the team because that's what it's about. Football, you support your team and you support your club. Now that the decision has been made and Ten Hag is on the verge of signing a new contract, why not see it through? Why not do it? And let's do it properly and let's see what he can do. If it goes wrong, it goes wrong. Nothing is set in stone. We carry on, we move. So at the end of the day, we need to believe in the team, believe in the manager, and we move, guys. We move, okay? So the positivity needs to come back. And of course, the positivity will come back once we get results. Once we start getting results, the positivity will come flooding back. And that's what's important. That's what I believe in. I believe United fans are a family. They're a second family to me. So every single one of you, regardless what it is, we're on the same ship. We're going to the same destination. And that destination is Premier League challenging, Premier League winning, Champions League challenging, Champions League winning. That's all for me today. Thank you so much for joining me. You guys are the absolute elitist. Not elitist, but you're elite. Okay, so thank you for joining me. You guys are amazing. Please smash the like and subscribe. And I will see you tonight for Turkey against the Czech Republic. And should be a good game. I'm hoping. Yesterday was another 0-0. I've had 2 goals in 4 days. Never mind. All the best, guys. Take it easy. Peace.